In a world where strength often defines one's worth, 16-year-old Isla was anything but remarkable. Small in stature, quiet in nature, and constantly overlooked by everyone around her. She lived a life shadowed by doubt. No one ever noticed. The girl who barely had the energy to make it through the day. Her classmates joked that she was too weak to even defend herself. But Isla knew something they didn't. Something deep inside her that had always felt different every night. As she lay in bed, there was an inexplicable pull toward the ocean. It wasn't just the sound of the waves or the salty breeze that made her feel this way. It was the strange dreams. Dreams of deep, dark waters and an ancient voice calling out her name. A voice that she couldn't understand, but felt in her very soul. But Isla never spoke about it. Who would believe her? After all, she was just a weak girl in a town where strength was everything. One fateful evening, after a particularly grueling day at school, Isla wandered down to the beach near her home. The sun had dipped below the horizon, and the moon hung high in the sky, casting a pale glow across the water. As the cool breeze ruffled her hair, she stood at the water's edge, mesmerized by the way the waves gently lapped at her feet. That's when she felt it, the pull, stronger than ever before. It was as if the sea was calling her, urging her to come closer. Without thinking, Isla stepped into the water, her bare feet sinking into the soft sand beneath. The waves rose and fell, and as she ventured further, something strange happened. The water around her began to glow, faint at first, but growing brighter as she moved deeper. Then it appeared. A figure emerged from the water, something impossibly beautiful and terrifying at the same time. A mermaid, with shimmering scales and eyes as deep as the ocean itself. The creature seemed to materialize out of the sea, her voice echoing in Isla's mind. Isla, the time has come. The mermaid spoke, her voice both melodic and commanding. You are destined for greatness, but you have been hiding from your true potential. Isla stumbled back, her heart racing in her chest. She had heard the legends, the stories of powerful beings who could awaken ancient powers, but she never imagined it would happen to her. Not the weak girl who could barely stand up for herself. What do you mean? Isla managed to whisper, her voice trembling. The mermaid's eyes glimmered with an ancient knowing. You are not just any ordinary human. You carry within you the blood of a forgotten lineage, one that connects you to the ocean's deepest secrets. I have come to awaken that power. You will no longer be weak. You will become unstoppable. Before Isla could respond, the mermaid extended her hand, and in that moment, Isla's body was flooded with an overwhelming energy. It surged through her veins, filling every inch of her being with a power she had never known. She felt it deep inside her, her body, her very soul, transforming. Her strength wasn't just physical, it was something far greater. Her senses sharpened, her mind cleared, and for the first time in her life, Isla felt alive, as if she could do anything. But the transformation wasn't easy. As the power coursed through her, Isla felt a tug of resistance, as if her very being was fighting it. The pain was excruciating, and she nearly collapsed from the intensity of it. But the mermaid was there, her presence a calming force amidst the chaos. This power is yours, Isla, but you must learn to control it. It will test you. It will push you beyond your limits. But if you succeed, there is nothing you cannot accomplish. When Isla finally opened her eyes, she could see everything more clearly. Every detail of the world around her. The colors were brighter, sharper. She could hear the faintest sound, the rustle of leaves on trees, the whisper of the wind. It was as if she could sense the world in ways she never had before. But with this newfound power came a terrifying realization. Isla wasn't just a 16-year-old girl anymore. She was something more, something dangerous. The mermaid smiled, a knowing look in her eyes. The ocean has given you its gift, Isla. But now you must prepare yourself. There are forces out there who will want to use your power for their own gain. You must stay strong. You must stay true to yourself. Isla felt a chill run down her spine. Forces. Who could possibly want her power? She was just a girl who had barely survived high school, let alone be a part of something so grand. But the mermaid's words echoed in her mind. Stay true to yourself. Isla looked out at the vast ocean before her, the waves crashing violently against the shore. She felt a deep connection to it now, a bond she couldn't explain. The power inside her was real, and it was only just beginning to awaken. But as much as she felt invincible, she knew the journey ahead would not be easy. As Isla turned to leave the beach, her heart heavy with uncertainty, a shadow moved in the distance, watching, waiting. Someone or something was already aware of her transformation. Isla's blood ran cold. Who were they? What did they want with her? And as the moonlight bathed the ocean in a silver glow, Isla couldn't help but wonder, was she truly ready for the power that had just awakened inside her? Or would she fall victim to the forces lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike? The story was only beginning. Isla couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, even after the mermaid had disappeared back into the ocean's depths. Her words lingered like a heavy weight on her chest. Forces. What did that even mean? Who would want her? Of all people, dead or alive? Over the next few days, Isla tried to return to her normal life. It was a struggle. Her classmates barely noticed her transformation, as usual, but Isla felt different. Every movement she made felt like it was being observed from all angles, like her body was no longer her own. It was as if every breath she took reverberated with an unfamiliar power. She couldn't quite control it. Her emotions were erratic. Sometimes she felt on top of the world, other times consumed by an urge to run, to hide from the vast unknown she had suddenly been thrown into. At home, her mother had started to notice her strange behavior. Isla's mother, a loving but worried woman, had always been a comforting presence in her life. She saw the difference in her daughter, even if Isla tried to downplay it. Isla, honey, you've been acting distant lately. What's going on? Her mother asked one evening, as they sat together in their small living room. Isla opened her mouth to reply, but nothing came out. How could she explain the strange connection she felt to the ocean? How could she explain the mermaid? No one would believe her, not even her own mother. So, she smiled weakly and shrugged. Just tired, Mom. School's been a lot, you know, her mother gave her a skeptical look, but didn't push any further. Isla appreciated that, though the lie hung in the air between them like a heavy fog. That night, Isla's dreams grew even more vivid. The mermaid appeared again, her long glowing tail casting an ethereal light across the dark ocean. Isla, she called again. The power inside you is ancient, and it's only just begun to awaken. The trials will be harsh, but you must be ready. The world will try to break you, but you have a choice. A choice? Isla asked, her voice trembling. What choice? The mermaid's eyes darkened. You can remain hidden, shy away from the destiny that awaits you, or you can embrace the power, step into the unknown, and fight for the world that is slowly falling apart. It's not just about you anymore, Isla. Your awakening is the spark that will either save the world or destroy it. Isla's heart raced. But I'm just a girl. I don't know how to fight. You will learn. The ocean will guide you. But beware, Isla. There are those who seek your power, those who will stop at nothing to control you. They will come for you soon. Isla woke up with a start, the moonlight pouring in through her window, bathing her in its cool glow. Her breath was shallow, her heart pounding in her chest. She couldn't ignore it any longer. There was something far bigger happening than she could comprehend. But what could she do? She wasn't ready to face whatever was coming. She wasn't ready to fight. The next day at school, the unease crept back in. Isla couldn't focus on her lessons. Her mind kept drifting back to the ocean, to the mermaid, to the feeling that something was approaching, something that would change everything. That's when she met him. Luca was new to the school, and from the moment Isla saw him, she felt an odd sense of recognition, as though their paths were destined to cross. He had the kind of presence that made people take notice, his dark eyes always scanning the room, as if searching for something or someone. Isla tried to ignore the strange pull she felt toward him, but it was hard. His gaze seemed to always find hers. During lunch, when their paths finally crossed in the hallway, Luca stopped her. "You're Isla, right?" he asked, his voice smooth, with a hint of curiosity. Isla nodded, trying to hide the nervous flutter in her stomach. "Yeah, I am." How do you know my name?" Luca smiled, but there was something mysterious in his expression. "I know more than you think." The word sent a chill down Isla's spine. "What do you mean?" she asked, trying to sound calm, but her voice trembled slightly. Luca leaned closer, lowering his voice to a whisper. "I know what you're hiding. You've been changed, Isla. The power you feel, it's not just in your head. I know because I'm like you." Isla stared at him, unable to speak for a moment. Her mind raced. How could he possibly know? She had told no one. The mermaid had said she was destined for greatness. But how did Luca fit into this strange puzzle? He studied her carefully, then glanced around to make sure no one was listening. "They're coming for you. I don't know if you're ready, but you need to understand something. You're not the only one with powers. There's a group of us, those who are tied to the ancient forces, and right now there's a war happening in the shadows, one that you've just become a part of." Isla's heart skipped a beat. "War? What did that even mean?" Luca continued, his voice growing more urgent. "You have to trust me. There are people who want to control you, use your power for their own purposes. If they find you before you learn how to harness what's inside you, they'll..." Suddenly, a loud crash interrupted them. Isla whipped her head around, her eyes wide. A group of men in dark suits had stormed into the school courtyard, their faces obscured by sunglasses. They looked out of place, like they didn't belong. Luca grabbed Isla's arm, his grip tight and urgent. "We have to go now." Fear surged through Isla's chest as she struggled to keep up with him, her thoughts racing. Who were they? What did they want with her? Was she already too late? As they ducked into a nearby alley, Luca glanced around, ensuring no one was following. "They found you sooner than I expected," he said, breathless. "And that means we don't have much time." Isla's mind was spinning. The mysterious men. Luca's warning. The power coursing through her veins that she didn't know how to control. Everything was happening so fast. Was she ready for what was coming? Or was this just the beginning of a much darker journey? The clock was ticking, and the real fight had only just begun. Isla's heart pounded as she and Luca rushed through the alleyway, the sound of their footsteps echoing in the narrow space. The men in suits were still somewhere behind them, and she could feel their presence closing in. She had never imagined that her life would spiral into something so chaotic, so dangerous. The power the mermaid had awakened in her was supposed to be a gift, wasn't it? but now it felt more like a curse. Luca led her to an old, abandoned building, its broken windows and crumbling walls offering a momentary shelter. He pulled her inside and closed the door behind them, his eyes scanning the area like a hawk. "We're safe here, for now. But we don't have much time. The people after you, they won't stop until they get what they want." Isla's breath came in short gasps. "What do they want from me? What do I have?" Luca's face softened, as if he were choosing his words carefully. "You have the power of the ocean inside. You, Isla." The mermaid wasn't just some random creature. She was a guardian, and she chose you because you're the one who can stop the chaos that's about to consume this world. But that power comes with a price. Isla swallowed hard. "A price?" "The more you use it, the more you attract attention. Dangerous attention. Those men who came for you, they belong to an organization called the Nexus. They've been hunting down people like you, individuals with powers tied to ancient forces, for years. They want to control you, to use your strength for their own gain, but you don't have to let them." Isla felt the weight of his words settle on her. Control. The Nexus. She had never asked for any of this. She just wanted to live a normal life, free from secrets and danger. But that was no longer an option. The world was bigger than her, and the fight for survival was already in motion. Luca stepped closer, his voice low and serious. "You need to learn how to use your power, Isla. We can't run forever. The more you embrace your strength, the harder it will be for them to catch you. But the longer you wait, the more they'll close in." Isla nodded, her hands trembling. She was terrified, but a part of her knew that Luca was right. The mermaid had called her the spark. If she didn't fight now, the world would burn. She had to step into the unknown, no matter how much it scared her. Over the next few days, Luca trained Isla, teaching her to harness the power within. It wasn't easy. Every time she tried to control the energy that surged through her, she felt like she might lose herself. But with each attempt, she grew stronger. The ocean, the power of the mermaid, it was becoming part of her. She could feel it deep within her bones, coursing through her like an unrelenting tide. But even as she trained, the pressure mounted. The Nexus wasn't far behind. Isla could feel their presence everywhere, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. She didn't know how long they could keep running, how much longer they could hide. It was only a matter of time before the final confrontation. One night, as Isla and Luca made their way through the city, trying to stay unnoticed, the worst happened. The Nexus found them. A group of men in dark suits cornered them in an abandoned warehouse. Isla's heart raced as she realized that this was it. This was the moment that would decide everything. There was no more running, no more hiding. It was time to face the storm head on. "You can't escape," one of the men sneered, his voice cold and menacing. "You belong to us, whether you like it or not." Lucas stepped in front of Isla, his fists clenched. "Over my dead body." Isla's mind was racing. She couldn't let Luca face this alone. She couldn't let anyone else get hurt because of her. The mermaid had told her to embrace the power, to fight, but she still wasn't sure if she was ready. But there was no more time for doubt. With a deep breath, she closed her eyes and let the power inside her surge. It was a terrifying feeling, but she didn't fight it. The ocean's energy flowed through her like a storm, and the air around her crackled with raw power. When she opened her eyes, she could see everything more clearly. Every movement, every shift in the air. She could feel the men's presence, their every intention, and she knew what she had to do. With a swift motion, she raised her hand, and The ocean's power surged forth. Waves of energy rippled through the warehouse, knocking the men back with a force they couldn't comprehend. Isla felt a momentary surge of triumph, but it was fleeting. The Nexus wasn't done. They wouldn't stop until they had her. Luca lunged forward, his eyes locked onto Isla's. "You can do this. Don't hold back." The men regrouped, their weapons drawn. But Isla was no longer the weak, unsure girl she had been. She was the spark. She was the storm. With a shout, she unleashed the full force of the ocean's power. Waves of energy crashed into the men, sending them flying. The warehouse shook, the walls cracking under the intensity of her power. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, it stopped. The men lay defeated, unconscious. But Isla was standing tall, her heart pounding, her body humming with the aftershock of the battle. She had done it. She had finally embraced her power. Breathing heavily, Luca approached her, his face full of admiration. "You did it. You're unstoppable now." Isla looked around at the destruction, the wreckage left behind. But she didn't feel fear or regret. She felt a sense of purpose. The fight wasn't over, but this was the moment she had claimed her destiny. She was no longer just a girl with a secret. She was a force to be reckoned with. The world would never be the same again, and neither would she. But even as she stood victorious, Isla knew this was only the beginning. The Nexus was just one enemy. There were more battles to come, and as she looked to Luca, she understood one thing. This was only the start of a journey that would shape not just her fate, but the future of the world itself.